Shannon, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Can we get big W's in the chat for Shannon for her birthday? Should we sing it for her? Saying, happy birthday to you. Hey. Happy birthday to you. Hey. Happy birthday. I'm actually still older than you. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. I'm still older. I'll turn 39 in December. So, yeah, welcome in everyone. Happy birthday to Shannon and happy Tuesday to everybody else. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The reason I've been late really is just because I need upgrades to my computer. And for some reason, I'm having to do a whole bunch of stuff to keep it going. Corey, it's Shannon's birthday. So I'm trying to make sure everything is a little like less laggy than it's been, but it's giving me a hard time right now. So we're just trying to figure it out. But I gotta order. Well, I got a bunch of stuff to do to my computer. I need a new computer. Is what I need. But that's not for today. That's for another time. Sodium, you can't fix the fact that I need a new CPU and better RAM remotely. I don't think that's possible. And if you can, then more power. Dude, you are the best IT guy in existence. You should be hired by, I don't know, maybe the White House. I don't know. Something like that. You should be hired by somebody if you can make me have more gigs of RAM remotely. Just saying. that is some pretty impressive computing. That is some pretty impressive computing. Well, as you guys are all coming in, welcome in. How's everybody doing on everything? We got everything up right now. We got everything up and moving. Oh, okay. I'm still like kind of. Oh, you download more RAM? Yeah, that's really good. My new RAM will be here on Thursday. My new CPU will be here on Sunday. It's just going to be a temporary fix. My computer's a little old. I need a new one, but it'll be a temporary fix. But my new RAM will be here. I ordered it last night. It'll be here Thursday, and then I got a new CPU coming in on Sunday. So, yeah. It'll still be good. All right. Well, as you guys are coming in, welcome in. Make sure you guys are tapping that screen. If you're on a certain platform, make sure you're liking. If you're on other platforms, make sure you're saying hi regardless of what platform you're on. Just come on in and enjoy yourself. Get comfy. Throw on some sweats. Grab yourself a nice glass of Grigio or I don't know, of whatever. And let's get ready to do some stuff. I got my apple juice. I do have my apple juice. I also have a big old thing of water. Got both. So I got all sorts of stuff. So we're going to get this thing started, get this thing going in just a second. We're going to open up the multi-guest request box. We're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to open up all the fun stuff. And yeah, last night was wild. Last night was didn't even really seem that wild. It seemed like a pretty decent live. It was fine. I actually enjoyed myself last night. I had a really good time. I had a really good time. Actually had a blast. So I'll say like W's to Pixie in my Discord who hit bingo last night and is my first bingo merch giveaway, which is awesome. So W's to chat for Pixie, who will get the third hoodie that I am sending out. And yeah, got the bingo. Isn't that exciting? We had our first bingo. I'm excited. We're gonna be doing bingo at least once a month. I think. I don't know how we get away from it now. We're gonna be doing bingo at least once a month, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see how much I'm enjoying bingo. But if you guys do want to join the bingo game, you guys have to be in the Discord, and you also have to be a sub or a member, paid sub in TikTok or a member on YouTube, and be in those channels, and then you can be qualified to win. Then you never know. You never know what could happen. That was really fun. So if you guys are members or paid members or subscribers and you guys are in my Discord, make sure you guys are playing some bingo. It's really fun. We have a really good time over there. All right. Well, let me throw on the headphones. Let's see if we can get this thing a little bit, get this thing started, get this thing moving. No time like the present. No time like the present at all. I know I decided to go with the all pink get up today. All right, y'all. If you guys haven't been here before, this is where we have live political conversations and we have a lot of fun with them. So if you voted for Trump, you can call in the number that's above my head or next to my head, depending on which stream you're looking at it on. And you can have a conversation with me about why you support Trump, and we'll talk about it and have real conversations with real people. If you didn't vote for Trump, sorry, I don't really want to talk to you. No offense. I'm sure you're a very nice person. Okay, but I don't want to talk to you. Because if I wanted to be in an echo chamber, I'd go to a MAGA live, because that's what all of theirs are. Is just a bunch of 8 or 9 MAGA people all sitting there talking to each other about, I don't know, how much they love orange Cheeto dust or something like that. But here we actually have conversations with other people that disagree with us, and we have real conversations. We get down to some nitty gritty. That's what we do here. Okay, so let's not get that confused with some BS over here. Here, we actually have real conversations with other people that disagree with us. We don't sit in echo chambers. Yeah. Hello, how are you?
Howdy.
Hi, how old are you?
28.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Why is that?
Mainly because of the Second Amendment.
Mainly because of the Second Amendment. Okay. And what has Donald Trump done for the Second Amendment?
He wants to do a constitutional carry for concealed carry, and he hasn't implemented any gun laws.
Okay. What gun laws?
Further restrict.
What about the bump stock ban?
Well, yes, that is true.
What about when Donald Trump said that we should take away people's guns before we have due process?
I mean, I don't pay attention to the news so much, but...
Oh, okay. Well, you're making the claim saying that you voted for Donald Trump because of the Second Amendment, so I assume that you listen to the news when it comes to what Donald Trump says about the Second Amendment.
No, I don't watch the news so much. Pretty much at all.
All right, so you're really just saying that you just think that Donald Trump is better for the Second Amendment. So let me ask you a question. What policy was passed under the Biden administration that restricted your guns?
Nothing so much in my state, but, Democrats, I'm actually a former Californian, and,
well, sir, hold on. I'm just letting you know right now, if you're saying nothing in your state and you're going to talk about a different state, then you're not talking about Biden, which is what I asked you, because Biden was the president of all states. So what policy did Biden pass that restricted your 2A?
Nothing. He actually didn't really have a problem with Joe Biden being the president.
All right, what restriction did Obama put on yours 2A?
Um, hmm.
Still there?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. Can you tell me?
He didn't. Yeah. So if Obama didn't restrict anything with 2A on a federal level, Biden didn't restrict anything on the 2A with 2A on a federal level, but Trump did restrict things on for 2A on a federal level because he did the bump stock ban, then why would you vote for Donald Trump due to 2A stuff?
I remember seeing some dude who was in Joe Biden's cabinet saying, like, yes, he was going to ban the AR-15, and yes, he was going to ban the AK-47, and you know that never happened, mainly because it was like a Republican-controlled Senate and House. But
It was not actually the Senate or the House was controlled. House and Senate actually had majority for Biden, not a super majority, but they had both to begin it, and he never lost both houses.
I mean, I'm sure I could find something that Barack Obama
No, you can't.
banned.
No, you can't because it doesn't exist.
Well, give me a second here.
Sir, if you have to look it up now, then why did you vote for Trump?
Just because Republicans are usually a little bit more pro 2A.
You literally had Kamala Harris, that is a gun owner, and her vice presidential candidate was the congressional sharpshooter and an avid hunter and avid gun owner. How many guns do you think Donald Trump owns?
I have no idea.
I would guess
Not
zero,
a huge
considering he's
Trump-
never even claimed to have owned one. Actually, in a lot of
Well, I
states,
mean-
Donald Trump can't even buy one because he's a felon.
Let's see.
Sir, I'm talking to you. If you were going to do your research, you should have done it before you voted. I'm trying to figure out why you voted for Donald Trump when he was restrictive on guns, when Obama and Biden weren't. And again, Donald Trump has never claimed to have owned a gun, nor can he even do that in most states because he's a felon. I'm trying to figure out why you voted. I'm not looking for you, waiting for you to do a research paper right now.
Why did I? Also, the border.
No, you specifically said 2A. I don't want to move to the border. You said 2A. What is Donald Trump doing
Well,
for
you just asked
2A?
me what was
Besides,
another reason.
okay, so you're saying that we shouldn't have states' rights, correct?
No, I believe we should have states' rights.
But
I
yet
believe the
you're
federal government
advocating for
should be-
but you're advocating for Donald Trump to overturn states' rights and states' laws when it comes to gun carrying.
I don't think the federal government should be involved in states' rights. I believe, the states should make their own laws. That's how it should be,
But yet you're
But we
advocating for
have these
Donald
federal gun
Trump
laws.
having a constitutional carry for concealed carry, which goes against states' rights and states' laws. So you're advocating currently for the states to lose their rights to be able to make their own laws, and you think that the federal government should come in and step in and make those laws for them. That's what you're advocating for.
Well, I mean, what in the Second Amendment says we can't carry a gun concealed?
When the Second Amendment says that you can carry a gun concealed.
It says we have the right to bear arms.
It says in order to form a more perfect militia, you have the right to bear arms.
But yes, that's true.
All right. Well, are you in the perfect? Are you in a militia that is necessary for a free state?
No, but
Then what are you talking
No.
about?
I mean, America has like this gun culture, and like, what am I gonna do with my? I've always thought about this. Like, what is all these gun-toting rednecks who are like, "Oh, I got my AR-15. Let's go, government." What is an AR-15 going to do against a drone strike? Nothing. So, it's not really about these days like forming a perfect militia, but like America has this gun culture of owning guns and like collecting guns and
United States also used to have a slave culture of owning and collecting slaves.
Yeah, well, we had a civil war about that, and that's over 100 years ago.
So we fixed ourselves. So just because there was a culture of it in the United States doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing.
So it's something that
and
happened
right
100
now
years
we
ago,
not
you're
only
still mad about.
and not
Are
right
there
now
slaves today?
Yes.
No. There are in other countries.
No, there's slaves in
like
the United
China.
States today, and it's not even illegal according to the Constitution. So,
are you talking about like the 13th Amendment with like prisoners?
Yes.
Okay. Don't go to prison.
You didn't say whether you should go to prison or not. So what you're saying is that don't go to prison if you don't want to be a slave. So you're now admitting that there are slaves in the United States.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying, are there slaves in the United States right now? Yes, there you go. You just answered your own question, sir. You literally just said, but are there slaves in the United States right now? And I said yes, and now you just proved my point that there not only are slaves in the United States,
privately owned.
But you already knew that.
I mean, sure, but don't go murdering people.
Sir, I'm not saying anything. Sir, I'm not justifying crime. I said we had a culture in the United States of slavery. You are making the argument that because we have a culture of guns, even though it's not good for us, that we should keep it because we have that culture. I am saying we've had cultures of many things throughout American history and throughout, world history, cultures that were not good for the people, and so we got rid of them. We had a culture of burning witches at the stake. Just because we had that culture, should we keep it?
Well,
yes or no?
No, those cultures are bad.
Okay, so when we have the highest freaking murder rate per capita of any freaking first world nation on the planet, and and the highest murder rate by a long shot, and the highest unaliving of children in the United States due to our current gun laws, then don't you think we should change it?
Well, sure. But there are many gun laws now. But here's the thing: is criminals don't follow gun laws. They are criminals. They just buy. I mean, it's very expensive. Like, let's say, just for instance, I'm sure you've seen these Glocks with the switches in the back.
Well, sir, I'm assuming
that 3D printed.
Yeah, I think that at this point you mean that murder should also be legal, right?
Murder should be legal?
Oh, that's what you're saying, right?
No, murder is illegal.
But criminals don't follow the law, so why make a law about it?
I mean, they do murder people.
Well, but why even have a law? Because criminals don't follow the law, so why would we make a law about it?
Because, people can usually self-govern themselves, and most moral people don't just get mad at their neighbor and then go murder them.
Sir, your argument was that we should not have gun laws, okay, because criminals don't follow laws.
What I'm saying is only law-abiding citizens follow laws.
Therefore, we shouldn't have laws against murder because in that case, only criminals are the ones that would break that law. And if criminals aren't going to follow the law, then we might as well not have the law.
Well, like what I was saying with the switches in the Glocks.
Sir, I don't care about switches in fucking Glocks. I'm talking about the law.
So there is a law. It's very hard to get a fully automatic weapon in the United States. It has to be pre-1987 to be grandfathered in, and it costs a lot of money. So if you let's say for instance you wanted to buy a Glock 18.
Sir, can you get to the point? Because I do not care about this entire conversation. What is your point?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, these 18-year-old kids riding around selling drugs with a switch in their Glock, they didn't pay $50,000 to buy a legal, fully automatic Glock. They converted it illegally. It's completely illegal to own that.
Shit, sir.
So what's the point of having a law against a fully automatic weapon?
Then what's the point of having a law against murder if that person uses it to murder someone?
Because most people follow the law. But there are
Correct.
criminals in this country and in the whole world.
Right. And when we create
There's
laws,
criminals.
it deters people from breaking those laws more. So when we have stricter laws on things, we have a deterrence against people doing
Okay,
those things.
so you're
And
saying
we have
that
higher levels. No, I'm saying, I'm not done saying anything. But more importantly than that, sir, it just makes common fucking sense because in countries that have stricter laws, they have less of a homicide rate than we do,
you
and
think
they
the
have less people
law
that are
against
killed by
murdering
guns.
someone
Not to
is
mention
not
that.
strict?
Hold on, sir. Not to mention the fact that, do you know what the 3 states with the highest gun homicide rates by gun per capita are?
Detroit, Michigan is one of them, I would
Wrong.
assume. And that's a Democratic city
It's
with
wrong, though.
very strong gun laws.
Sir, 3 highest states of gun homicide rate per capita. States.
Isn't it like let's see, probably Michigan, I would
Wrong.
assume. What about it just changed the most dangerous city.
No, it's not. The nurse
Like
yeah.
Memphis,
You want to know
Tennessee
what the 3
city.
states are, sir, so we can make this nice and easy because you're not even close.
Sure.
Yeah, it's Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi.
Okay.
3 of the states with the loosest gun laws in the United States.
So how about the most dangerous cities like Detroit?
The most dangerous city by gun
heinous.
laws is Gary, Indiana, which is also a Republican city, even though there's not a such thing.
So is there such thing as a Democratic city?
No.
So why is Detroit, Michigan, like such a crime-ridden city, and they have
Detroit
like,
doesn't even, I believe, hit top 10.
New York.
Sir, Detroit doesn't even hit top 10, I don't believe, in gun homicide rates per capita. I think number 2 after Gary, Indiana is Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, you'd like to jump around, but to go back to...
No, sir, you're just naming cities that you think are democratic, and then you're trying to convince me that they're the wrong
Detroit,
ones
Michigan.
when they're not. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not the case. But regardless of any of that, when we come to gun laws, cities don't create those laws. States create those laws. Okay, so trying to put out a city in there is not helping anything because states make the laws on what their concealed carry laws are and all that sort of stuff. And when we go to
most of the population is in the city,
right, sir. So you would imagine that if that was the case, then California would be number 1. But again, California isn't number 1 because that would be the most populated state. But it's not. It's Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama.
Well, to go back to that first thing you were saying about stricter laws, would you say that the laws against murdering someone are not strict?
They are strict.
But yet people still murder people every day.
Correct.
In the United States.
100%.
So what should we do what further could we do to make the murder...
If we made
make it more
let me ask you a question.
That law more strict against murdering people, what could we do to make it so people would stop murdering people?
Let me ask you a question. If we change the
burn them at the stake,
are you going to let me respond or no?
Well,
yeah. So if we made the punishment,
you gotta let someone respond to be able to respond.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
If we change the punishment for murder to 1 year in prison, do you think murders would go up or down?
Say that again. Sorry.
If we change the punishment for committing a murder from 20 years to life to 1 year in prison, do you think murders would go up or down?
It would probably go up if you only got 1 year.
It would probably go up. So you are admitting that when we have stricter laws, it works.
I mean, for people who obey laws and
No. I didn't ask for people that obey the laws. We
Yeah,
have the exact same people right now. And if you were to reduce the sentence for freaking murder, then the gun rate would go up, or the homicide rate would go up, because that's obvious, right?
okay, yes,
So if we make the
yes,
law,
I
the
agree
reason why
with
it's
that.
at the level it is right now is because our laws are very strict when it comes to that certain thing. So also, if we were to take that and put that towards freaking gun laws and made the laws stricter, then obviously it would reduce the amount of crime, because the punishment would freaking would be harsher, and therefore the penalties would be better. And that changes for all sorts of things. But I think the biggest thing when it comes to gun laws is we just really need to be able to freaking make sure that the right people have them, and the right people that have them aren't crazy, and that they're trained to fucking have them. But we can't do that because y'all would rather, try to give more guns to more people, literally trying to increase the chance that somebody that shouldn't have one has one.
Well, I mean, you do have to go through a background check. If you've even been convicted of like a marijuana charge, you won't be able to purchase a gun. Have you ever?
That depends on the
Do
state.
you own a gun?
That depends on the state.
No, that's federal law. That's a
Sir,
federal
marijuana is not
form you
even
fill out
illegal
every
in
time
most
you-
states.
It doesn't. It's still illegal.
What are you talking
against
about,
federal
dude?
law. No, it's still marijuana is still illegal federally.
But if you're in a state where it's not illegal, then you're not going to get arrested for it.
No, that's true. But what I'm saying is that you're not going through the state with a background check.
I live in Florida. Do I have to
ATF.
do a background check on somebody if I personally sell someone a weapon in my state?
No, you don't. If you do a private transfer.
Why not?
So you would want to not sell it to someone you wouldn't know, like, because that could come back on you.
There's literally shows here where I could make private sales off of people just consistently. What are you talking about? There's literally entire freaking. I'm sorry. Say what, sir? Sir, what state do you live in?
North Carolina.
Okay, I'll talk about Florida then, if you don't mind.
Insane.
I know that's false. That gun show loophole baloney you're talking about right now.
Sir, it's not just a gun show thing. I can go on fucking Craigslist. I can go on Facebook Marketplace, bro. It's not even that serious. If you're trying to freaking get a hang up because I said gun show.
No, that's a private sale. If you go to a gun show, you are going to get background
checked. Sir, I don't care about any of this. Why are you freaking trying to advocate for more people with less background checks to have guns?
Well, you said something that was wrong, and
sir, I don't care about this entire thing. You're talking at the speed of a fucking snail, and you're not getting to any fucking points. And every time I try to freaking talk to you about something, you just move the goalpost and move the conversation to something else. And honestly, I'm getting just fucking kind of tired and sick of it. Okay, why are you trying to advocate for the president of the United States to freaking make gun laws less restrictive, so that states that have stricter gun laws that have less homicide rates per capita now get worse because more people that aren't supposed to have them have guns? Why are you advocating for that?
Well, these states you've mentioned, like Mississippi, what'd you say, Arkansas? Most people live on the coast.
Sir, if you're not going to directly answer the question, I'm going to move on to the next person because this is ridiculous.
Why do I advocate for him?
Why do you advocate for that?
Because I like collecting guns, and I think they're interesting to me.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about? We're talking about freaking, like you said, constitutional carry on concealed carry in all 50 states. What does that have to do with you collecting?
Well, I think the constitutional carry would be a good law because criminals don't go and get their concealed carry permit. They're just carrying around guns. I've seen it. And why do I, as a person who is a law-abiding person who doesn't want to go murder people, I just want to carry a gun for self-protection in case.
And you can already do that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
No, but I have to go to a class and I have to pay for it and I have to get my permit renewed every 5 years.
You have to do the same thing for a driver's license. Are you for constitutional driver's licenses where you don't have to have a license also?
Well, there's nothing in the Constitution about
And there's
driving
nothing
is
in
a
the
privilege.
Constitution about constitutional carry either.
Well, there can be amendments added, and that's what he's trying to do.
There can be no. He's not.
It's constitutional carry.
He's
It would
not
be
trying to add an
50
amendment,
state.
sir. What does it take to add an amendment to the Constitution?
No idea. Tell me.
Then why are you saying that
Probably
Donald Trump
a
is
lot
trying
of
to add one when you don't
legislation.
have no idea what we're even talking about?
I mean, so you're in Florida. Do you own a gun?
I'm a concealed carry holder, actually.
Okay, so why are you so like?
Because
So
it's
what's your
fucking
problem with owning
stupid.
guns?
I didn't say I had a problem with it. I have a problem with your mindset. I don't have a problem with freaking you wanting to own guns or to be able to collect or to be able to sport shoot or do whatever the heck you want. I don't have a problem with that. Okay? Guess what? Everyone I know on the left, for the most part, or at least the large majority of them, they all own them too. Okay, saying that you want to have laws in place to make freaking stricter laws to make sure the wrong person doesn't have a weapon, to make sure that to be able to limit freaking things like mass shooting and school shootings, which were the leader. Sir, I'm talking. I'm in the middle of sentence. You know, I'm talking.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
To limit the wrong people from having them, to make sure that the right people that have them are able to be trained and that they have the correct background checks and they have all the right things, is not anti-gun. It's just more common sense and more for people to actually be able to live, especially children, to be able to live in this country without having to do shooter drills, because you just freaking want to make it more and more open for everybody to have one. I have the correct license. The license did not take me much to go get whatsoever. I was able to get it. Now freaking everybody knows that I am not only trained at what I have, but I'm able to freaking carry and I'm able to do it legally and everything is registered and everything's above board. And there's no problem with that. That is not some huge like significant fucking thing to me, okay? To be able to just make sure I'm licensed and registered to be able to do the right things with the weapons that I have, and to know that I'm able to actually freaking use them correctly and that I'm in the right mindset to be able to use it if I fucking need to, okay? It's the mindset that you guys put yourselves through that is just like, oh, if we don't just have this unrestricted ability to just own like whatever, then our rights are being freaking taken away. And that's just bullshit, dude. My question to you is, why can't you just freaking go through the smallest little processes in order to freaking own your weapons to make sure that we have less children dying?
I have no problem going with the small processes, and I've done them.
But you're advocating for less processes.
So why should I have to go through processes when someone can just go buy an illegal gun?
Here we go again. All right, sir. Well, you have a good rest of your day, because obviously you're not listening or engaging in this conversation, and you're reading some freaking talking point, which is just fucking ridiculous, dude. I'm not asking you for why this, why that. You asked me if I was a freaking owner. I can explain to you that that I am, and why all the reasons why it's not an issue for me whatsoever to go through legal processes, and I'm totally okay with advocating for more legal processes to make sure that I can keep mine and that less bad people get them. Now, you explain to me why you're against that. Why you're against the fact that you could still be legal, you could still own your weapons, you can still collect, you could still shoot, you could still do all the stuff you want with less children dying, why you're advocating for the path that is to more children dying.
It's not just about children dying.
Yes, it is.
That's not something cool. I don't like people going into schools or a mall or a Walmart and shooting people up. It's not nice. It's not a cool thing that I think is going on in America. There are crazy people who have access to guns.
You say it's not going on in America?
No, I said it's not a cool thing that is going on in America, all these shootings, these mass shootings. But in those cases, it's these kids grabbing their parents' guns, which were like legally bought. So what can you stop to do that? What can you do to stop
There
that?
are tons of things we could do to do that. But the problem with that is that you're advocating for the opposite of. Does any other first world country on the planet have this problem?
Yeah.
No.
Afghanistan, Iraq.
Afghanistan's a first world industrial country. Iraq's a first world industrial country now, right?
Okay, so a first world country, no, because they do, like. So if you're talking about China or like Russia or Europe, they banned all the guns. And you know what people do in like Europe now? They
They
just
live
carry around
happily
giant
without
knives
doing
and
freaking active
stab
shoot.
each other to
Yeah,
death.
sir, you do realize in Europe, the stabbing rate per capita is still less than the stabbing rate per capita in the United States. And then we have the gun homicide on top of that?
Yeah, we have a lot more people living in the
No,
United
per
States than there
capita,
are
sir. Do you
in.
know what the words per capita means? It means amount per
No, go ahead,
100,000.
educate me.
Okay? Doesn't
Per
matter if we have
hundred
more
thousand.
people, it's per capita.
It it doesn't matter if you banned every gun, man. There'd still be guns in America, and criminals would still have access
Yeah,
to
there,
them.
sir. I
They
would like
still have
everyone to
access to
recognize.
them
I would like
now.
everyone to recognize that this dude does not give a shit. He does not care whatsoever how many people are fucking dying. He doesn't care that fucking children are afraid to fucking go to school.
People
He
die
doesn't.
every day.
Sir, shut the fuck up. I'm talking. He does not
So you're
care. All
cussing
right,
at me
speak again
now,
while I'm
and what
talking,
have
and I'm
I
hanging up
done
the
to
phone on you.
you?
How about that? Sound good?
Sorry, go ahead.
Perfect. This guy does not give a shit that freaking nobody else in the world has this problem. This dude does not give a shit whatsoever that children are having to do active shooter drills to freaking protect. All this dude cares about is that I get my little pew pew and I get to freaking keep it in my little pocket and it makes me feel good. And doesn't care about my little pew pew and I get to freaking keep it in my little pocket and it makes me feel good. And doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't matter how much data is presented to him. It does not matter how much freaking, how many studies have been done or how many laws have been passed in other countries to show this. It does not matter that he could still have all of his guns and still be able to do all the things that he fucking wants to do, okay, while still protecting those children. He does not give a fuck. Okay, he only cares about, I want my guns, and whatever laws have to get passed in order for me to have as much stuff as I fucking want, then that's what I fucking want. And I don't give a fuck who's hurt, who dies, who's killed, who does any of the other fucking stuff. Oh, I would have to fucking go take a class, or oh, I would have to have a better background check, or oh, I'd have to get a fucking license. Boo fucking who? Fucking don't give a shit. Oh, I have to do the smallest inconvenience to stop fucking a bunch of children from dying. Fucking pathetic, dude. This is why we can't get out of the rut that we're in the United States. Is because of literal people like this who won't even consider the idea that maybe they're slightly wrong and consider somebody else's life outside of theirs. It's fucking sad.
Have you hopped off your soapbox yet?
Yes, and I've hopped off talking to you. All right. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. This guy says all liberal gun logic. If you want unbiased gun talk, check my stuff. This dude's a grifter. What an anti-joke. It's really funny that I did not ask for a super chat whatsoever. Yet this person sent me a super chat to call me a grifter. That's pretty funny. I haven't even mentioned super chats. I haven't said a single thing about sending me a singular gift. Yet this person sends me a gift in order to call me a grifter. I believe that you are a below average Utah dad. I will agree with that most likely. I will agree with that. But thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. But I do agree you probably are a below average dad. That's probably where this came from. But that makes sense. All right, y'all, we're gonna keep this thing going. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys are hitting that sub button, hit that follow button. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys would like support, I do have super chats, super stickers open, all that fun stuff, and I have the members open and paid subs open on TikTok. So I really appreciate you guys. What's up, Johnny Raiders? I saw you guys come in. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats open as this below average dad decided to let you guys know. And it does help to keep these guys these lives going and keep good conversations like this going. Well, I assume we'll have a good conversation at some point because that dude definitely wasn't it. But yeah, we'll keep this going. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications too. Don't forget about that part. I feel like a lot of people forget about the notifications part. How else will you know when I post stuff? All right. I was gonna take a guest over here. We can get this thing going. Let's see. Who are you? No.
It's insane.
Who are you? Let's check this person out. They left. All right, I guess we're opening up the phone lines again. Keep this thing going. Oh. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hey, yeah,
Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How old are you?
I am 28.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
So mixed feelings. I did vote for him, right? And I think that he was a better candidate than what we were given.
What you were given? What do you mean by what you were given?
Yeah, yes. Between the Harris and the Harris Foundation and the Trump Foundation, I'd prefer Trump being elected over Harris.
Why?
So, number one, I have more conservative values. So, me personally, I don't like that the Harris Foundation or the Harris group was more pro transgender. That's just my physical, that's my basis on it. Trump is more.
What do you mean more pro
more
transgender? Because you do realize that in order for them to, that Donald Trump spent more money than any ad in this campaign by pulling a singular line from Kamala Harris from 5 years before the election about transgender people, and that wasn't at any point like a talking or running point for Kamala Harris
And
at all.
What was that line?
Yeah, it was about the transgender surgeries in prison, which I'd also like to make very clear was already legal and happened all the way through Donald Trump's first presidency.
Well, I'm not saying that she was running on being pro transgender. She did support people specifically for that, and her campaign was supported people. So she was supported by the what is it called? The Soros Foundation. She was supported by the Bill Gates Foundation. She was supported.
Those aren't transgender foundations.
No, they are not transgender foundations, but they do donate to a bunch of different foundations that are pro that choice. I'm not saying those
and
that. I'm just saying.
And there's foundations that voted for Donald Trump that literally support fucking Nazis. So what?
I understand. It's he's run on the he's not pro transgender. And he stated that in the early 2019s. He stated that in the early 2020s. So that's my thing. I would like to comment on what the previous caller said.
Not interested at all. I'm going to say exactly where the hell we're at. So Kamala Harris did not run on or talk about transgender people whatsoever. Donald Trump pulled Huh?
I didn't say that she ran on it.
Didn't again, you said you voted for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris because your conservative values, and Donald Trump was against transgender people, which, by the way, transgender people or not transgender people has never been a conservative value. Transgender people have existed all the way throughout history. Transgender people existed in the Bible. Okay, so like I don't know what you're talking about, like as far as being conservative and being transgender people, but it's just a very, very sad thing that you're like, oh, I voted for Donald Trump because he wanted to be like against people that weren't bothering me.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's
yes, it was
that in what I said previously was I supported him because of the backers that he had. They weren't specifically pro-transgender because of what they like to push.
But they were pro-Nazi and white supremacy. That's better for you?
How are they pro-Nazi? How are they pro-Nazi?
Dude, the same people. You're like, oh, there was foundations that freaking supported
I've
Kamala
never
Harris that supported
anybody,
something like over here when literally Donald Trump is literally taking money from super PACs to support people like Nick Fuentes, who he had dinner with in order to get money in his campaign at Mar-a-Lago. Who's like a very known white supremacist.
The Biden administration supported the Ukraine war, and the Ukraine war had the
Donald Trump is sending money to the Ukraine war right now.
Okay, yes. But both sides, if you're going to say
I'm
both
not
sides
talking
were
about that. If
pro-Nazi,
you're saying that you don't support Kamala Harris because of how some foundation that she's not connected to supported something else that you don't like, then how do you support Donald Trump when there's a whole bunch of foundations that were supporting things like white supremacy that also donated to Donald Trump? Are you saying that for some
What
reason you support?
foundation- no.
Are you saying you support freaking Donald Trump more than you support you support white supremacy more than you support transgender people? Is that what you're saying?
Foundations?
Dude, there was a ton
What
of again the one that
foundations-
freaking Nick Fuentes supports and freaking Turning Point and all sorts of other ones.
Turning Point isn't a white nationalist.
Have they used white nationalist views and Christian nationalist views? Yes, they have. They have very much been outward about that.
So being Christian nationalist isn't being
White
pro-Nazi.
nationalist and Christian nationalist, I said.
Okay, in being white nationalist isn't pro-Nazi either.
It's for white supremacy.
The Nazi organization. No, it's not. The difference between white nationalists in pro-Nazi are two very different things.
Sir, you're taking two different things, okay, and you're trying to put them together.
No, you just
listen to what I'm saying.
Being pro-white
sir, be quiet.
is being a Nazi.
Sir.
All right.
Oh, so you're just okay. So now you're admitting it. You're just pro-white supremacy. That makes a lot more sense.
I'm not pro-white. I'm not pro-white
Yes, you
supremacist.
are. Yes, you are.
No,
you're defending Turning Point right now. 100%.
You're
defending Turning Point right now after saying that you already supported that. You're literally doing it right now.
Okay. So my question to you is: everybody else is able to be pro whatever race they are. Is that anti-white? I'm not saying it is. I want black people to be pro-black. I want Cubans to be pro-Cuban. I'm part Cuban. My question is, right, if a country is pro-white, Poland is a pro-white country, they're not Nazis. They're very anti-Nazi. So whenever you say, he was supported by Nazis, Nazis are a very specific group that was started in the 1940s.
Imagine coming up here to talk about people donating to transgender people and end up at the end of the conversation trying to freaking defend white nationalism. Can you imagine that?
You steered the conversation that way.
Can you imagine that?
I
did not steer the conversation, sir, and I tried to correct.
You literally did.
Hey, ding dong! If you'd listen, you'd know I didn't. You're too busy yapping and not enough listening. Be quiet.
All right, I'll be quiet.
Awesome. I was talking about the people that donated money to Trump. That is what the conversation was. I was trying to find out how you justify supporting Trump, okay, if the same people that donated to him supported white supremacy and supported white nationalism, all right? But you were against people for donating to transgender. You're the one that took it upon yourself to start trying to defend white supremacy. You decided to do that all on your own. You decided to defend white nationalism all on your own. I didn't lead you to any of this. I was talking about the funding for the campaign. Okay,
that's a lie.
That is what I was talking about. You're the one that dove all the way, sir. You're the one that dove off the deep end trying to support all this sort of stuff. But that's fine. Now I actually kind of understand why you voted for Donald Trump. Now it actually makes a whole lot more sense.
That's a lie. What I said was I do not like the Harris Foundation because of her backers, specifically for transgender ideology that they were pushing. That is correct. You then said that me supporting...
Sir, I was here Trump, for the conversation. I don't need you to repeat it.
Okay, yeah, but then you said that I supported Trump and therefore I was a Nazi. That doesn't make any sense.
Not at all what I said.
Okay, you said if I support Trump and his backers were pro-white, that therefore they're pro-Nazi.
No, they're white supremacists, you ding-dong.
Okay, and you said white supremacists are Nazis.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
All right, sir. Maybe I should just let you go. Maybe you're just not intellectually capable of keeping up with this conversation, because I have corrected you 4 times saying that I did not say that. If you don't have the intellectual capability to keep up with this fucking conversation, then I'll just move on to somebody with more brain cells. I don't know what else to fucking say to you. I've repeated myself 4 fucking times saying that I did not state that and exactly what I've said. If you can't fucking figure that out, then I'm sorry. I guess Donald Trump was right when he said if he ever ran for president, he'd run as a Republican because they're stupid. Okay?
Well,
I guess you just prove the fucking
Trump.
point. Okay? I guess that just proves the fucking point. If you can't keep up with the conversation, then I don't know why we're having it. Either keep up or go away.
Oh, I'm keeping up.
No, you're fucking not. If you think this is dude, you are literally the definition of thinking you're winning while freaking getting lapped.
No,
you're so
I'm
far fucking behind.
I'm just
you're being
saying,
fucking lapped.
I'm just saying.
You're first.
I'm just saying what you said. That's it. If we want to move on to the conversation,
you're fucking
then
not.
Move on.
Ding dong. Jesus Christ, dude. Holy crap. Jesus Christ. Anyways, dude, you have whatever day you deserve. I'm tired of fucking trying to explain to you fucking exactly what words came out of my fucking mouth. Jesus Christ. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm good. So I'm calling. I am a Trump supporter.
How old are you?
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 42.
Awesome. And you're a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Perfect. Y'all make sure you hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. Ken, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. I don't know what the hell that means, but thanks. All right. Why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because for lack of a better phrase, I guess I can say he's the lesser of 2 evils, I guess. And I feel like I can deal with his blatant, like he's blunt and very rude, and he's not the typical politician. And I kind of understand Trump speak because I grew up watching him, and I kind of understand like his personality or whatever. So a lot of the stuff that he says doesn't really offend me as much.
Isn't that fucking weird?
It is weird.
Isn't it weird to like literally have someone that to have someone who brags about freaking like assaulting women, who's adjudicated of assaulting women, who freaking literally is literally like admitting to cohorting with somebody who freaking assaulted and freaking trafficked children, to be like, that's the lesser of 2 evils. Isn't that just fucking crazy? Especially like, no offense, but especially as a fucking woman who is literally like the target of his fucking aggression and his, and his, horrific behavior, especially as a woman, isn't that fucking wild to just be like, yeah, I super support the guy who literally just says like, oh, I can just assault women all I want. That's fucking wild.
No, what I said was it's lesser of 2 evils. For example, like when it comes to Donald Trump, he's always been in a glass house, so it's like you can see everything that goes on. And because of my age and me being around the culture and seeing him and stuff, I can see what is really, what he's doing, and I can put it in context. You know what I mean? So if I hear something, I can say, well, I knew what he meant by that, based on the fact that I grew up watching him.
Yeah, but perfect. So no, I'd like to test that. That sounds great. So when Donald Trump said, I like to go in the backstages of Miss Teen America competitions, and I get to kind of act like security, so they kind of just let me in, and I get to go back there and see all the girls naked. Can you put that in context for me?
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about because I watched that video.
Then go ahead and put it in context.
I think that he was, it was a Howard Stern interview he was doing. It was quite a long interview. I'm not defending everything that he does. I'm not saying that everything that he does is excellent, because it's not. It's embarrassing that we have to, we can vote, liberal or independent, but if we really want, to pick a side, we have to go either left or right. And that's why I said he was more of a tolerable asshole versus the other people, because I feel like the other options that we had were throwing a rock and hiding their hand. I feel like they were doing a lot of stuff that was, for instance, like Trump wasn't the only one on the Epstein plane. You know, Whoopi Goldberg was up there, with celebrities up there. It was Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was getting
Sir,
blowjobs in the White
then
House.
fucking arrest all of them. Why won't he release the files then?
I have no idea.
Because he's fucking on them, and they've already been released that they are redacting his name out of the fucking Epstein files.
Fair enough. I agree with you. It probably is. But I also think that it's a lot of other people up there.
Then arrest them all, sir. All, man. But I'm asking you you said that he was the lesser of two evils. So please explain to me what Kamala Harris did that was worse than being on Epstein's island, and worse than sexually assaulting women, and worse than freaking trying to see a bunch of underage girls naked, and worse than sexualizing his daughter, and worse than sexualizing a 10-year-old, please.
Well, nothing was wrong with Kamala Harris, to be honest with you. I didn't like how Kamala Harris, when she ran, she wasn't herself. I feel like she was coerced to say, like, it's a lot of stuff that I felt like she wanted to say, because I followed Kamala Harris when she first ran in the primary, and I saw how her attitude was and her drive was. But it seems like once she became the vice president, they kind of like changed her. If you notice, like in some of her interviews, she wasn't herself. She was like trying to repeat certain things and talk about growing up and, you know, whatever.
So,
she wasn't
I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you that the Democratic Party muted her. No complaint whatsoever on that. How does that make her worse than Donald Trump?
I didn't say
you did, because you voted for Donald Trump. So how does that make her worse than Donald Trump?
But she wasn't running for president. Joe Biden was.
No, Kamala Harris was.
Yeah, Joe Biden was the president. Kamala Harris was the vice president.
And Kamala Harris was running against Trump in the election. When you went to the voting booth, you had Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm telling you why. Like I just told you why. I feel like, for instance, like when she was on The View, and she said they asked her what things would she do differently, and she said nothing. And I wanted her to say, well, being that I'll become president, I'll do this, this, and this. It was a lot of things that I didn't care too much about Joe Biden's presidency.
Ma'am, I don't disagree with that. How does that make her worse than Donald Trump? Because you voted for Donald Trump. I don't disagree that there was problems. No, listen. Yeah. Maybe you're not understanding, because I'm tired of asking the question over and over again.
No,
you're not, because you're not answering the question. So I'm only going to ask it one more time. And I really want you to listen, because I'm only going to ask it one more time. If you can't figure out how to answer it, then I'm going to move on. All right. I don't disagree that there was problems in Kamala Harris's campaign. I don't disagree that the Democratic Party muted her a bit. I don't disagree that she made some answers that weren't correct. None of that altogether doesn't equal up to a quarter of one of the things I named for Donald Trump. So how does any of that make her worse than the guy who sexually assaults women, who freaking advocates for freaking the sexual assault of children and cohorts around it, who brags about all of this freaking shit, who fucking defrauds children's cancer charities? How does any of that add up to even a percentage of a single thing that Donald Trump has done to make you vote for him?
Okay, well, I guess I'll elaborate a little more. What makes her worse, in my opinion, based on the information that I've seen and the history difference between the two, I see the things that they did to Donald Trump. If he, let's say, I don't know, if he raped one person, that's wrong. But don't say he raped 5. So I noticed that he's
accused over 30 times. What are you talking about? 5?
No. What I'm saying is they will add stuff on, make things more worse than it has to be for him. I also, like I said, I piggyback on, I feel like she's worse. She was the worst candidate because she couldn't be herself. That let me see that she could not have her own, like she had a handler or something. Wow. Based on her candidate. I'm just telling you how my personal and a lot of my colleagues and people see the difference.
And I'm judging you intensely.
And it's also, I feel like sad. What a lot of people, a lot of people think that because you think opposite, you're against them. And a lot of times I see with the other side, it's not that we're against the other side. It's just that the other side is it's hard to see where we're coming from. You know, it's
Ma'am,
like
you just
your way or the
literally
highway.
said, well, this lady acted kind of fake, so I didn't want to vote for her. And it's not like Donald Trump, graped 5 people. He really only graped one. So really, it's really not that bad. Literally, those are the words you just said to me. And you expect me to try to understand what you're fucking saying?
Yeah, I mean, I can go on. I don't like how she was promoting promoting emotions instead of policies. Some of her policies, I can't recall too many policies that she even had besides like trying to help with the business. She was promoting.
How about you give me 3 that Donald Trump had?
3 policies?
Yeah.
Let's say no taxes off of tips.
That was a Bernie Sanders policy that Kamala Harris also had. Do you have anything else?
Okay. Yeah, but you asked me a policy that he had, and he put it into the bill. No taxes after tips. He has a policy now where, like, if you're born after 2020,
I didn't ask you what policies he has now. I asked you what policies he had in the election.
In the election, stop, dog. I'm sorry, my puppy's jumping on my face. He had that one. He was going to close the border. He was going to, I don't know, work on. He said he had a idea of health insurance. Like, he had a lot of things that he was running for. He was going to, his whole main objective is make America great again. So, I mean, I can go down the list. He wanted to.
You didn't name a single policy.
Release CIA. I mean, I'm just telling you the things that.
No, you said that Kamala Harris didn't have any policy, yet you refused to name a single freaking Donald Trump policy. Kamala Harris had policy on how she was going to freaking fix the border. She had actual policy on freaking things like, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, things that were Bernie Sanders policies, because again, they're left-leaning policies. Those aren't policy. Yeah. You're saying Kamala Harris didn't have any policy, but you're not naming a single policy from Donald Trump. You're just naming some fucking rhetoric.
It's policies that I said the ones that I did see, I didn't like them. She did have some, but I liked what Donald Trump was running on more than what she was. A lot of the things that she was running on, in my opinion, was off feelings and not actual, like, she was running off good feelings. Like, we're going to fight for women's rights, and we're going to, like, what policy does she have?
So when Kamala Harris has a policy, it's just feelings. But when Donald Trump has that exact same policy, but worse, then it's just policy.
No, you're absolutely right. If he has the same exact thing, and if it's worse, it's worse. I'm not like.
But when Kamala Harris has it, you call it just fucking running off of feelings and emotion.
Yeah, for instance, like the abortion one, it was nothing she could do to change the abortion law because they revoked Roe v. Wade. It was nothing.
Yes,
that
they
she
could.
do.
What are you talking about? Of course she could.
Such as how?
Yeah, law. Roe v. Wade wasn't law. It was a Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Didn't they overturn it?
They overturned Roe versus Wade, which is a Supreme Court decision that has nothing to do with passing law.
I know. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Then why? You said she couldn't have done anything to pass law. Of course she could have done things to pass law.
Not okay. Let's
the Dobbs decision had nothing to do with not being able to pass law. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm trying to explain to you was an example of how she ran on emotion. So she didn't run on changing any woman's rights. She was running on just protecting the rights. And I did not see anything in her policies when I did look up her policies, anything on how. Because I was like, what rights is he taking away? I need to find out if they're taking away women's rights. And when I saw that there were no rights being taken away, nor were there anything that she was suggesting, it showed me that she was going off of emotion. And I don't like
she was actually going off of actual things that she actually could have done to actually help women. But instead of actually listening to that, you just call it emotion. And then you vote for the guy who literally took the rights away from the women and who literally advocates for that consistently. So like, you're like, oh, well, see, and this is, I think this is the wildest thing. I really do think this is the wildest thing when I hear people try to defend Donald Trump like you're defending Donald Trump. And I think it's really, really sad. When it comes to Kamala Harris, you want to be so like incredibly like specific on every single little thing that she said and every single little policy and how that policy affects freaking this and affects that and affects, how it could have done this and how it could have done that. But the second it comes to Donald Trump, you're totally okay with throwing all of that out the fucking window, right? With completely just ignoring the fact that nothing that he said had a bit of substance. The majority of the things he said weren't even fucking possible. You have no problem ignoring all of that in order to vote Donald Trump in. But every single thing that Kamala Harris said, let's freaking, dissect it down to its freaking core base value in order to make some type of freaking criticism of it. If the fact that you have to go down to such a low level to break down freaking Kamala Harris's policy, but you don't even attempt to do that with Donald Trump's policy is really the saddest thing about this entire thing.
I really actually do. And the only reason I dissected it because you asked me to. I was making a generalized statement. And initially I said, it's certain things that I would tolerate more from the other side than another. That's all. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the best and that I ignore, because he does a lot of stuff that I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? But like I said, I have more history knowing who Donald Trump is and seeing his character. I've only been familiar with Kamala Harris in the last 5 years. And, her reputation initially was that she was a prosecutor. So I didn't see anything that, it was like weighing apples to oranges. And also Donald Trump was the president before. So it's like he didn't, ruin the world before. So like, let's see, give it another chance. Not saying that Kamala Harris could not have been a good president. But hello, are you still there?
Unfortunately.
Oh goodness. I'm just saying, like, it's nothing against her. I just prefer him. I feel like he's who we need to be. And let me rephrase that. That's not what I mean. I feel like the time of the political talking and word salad, like it kind of sounds like I'm doing now, is just over. And he's just very blunt, gets to the point. And sometimes people's feelings are going to get hurt. But, he
is literally word salad, getting up on stage, literally saying word salad every single fucking day.
Yeah.
He literally was just on stage saying that they lowered freaking drug costs by 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%. Literal word salads. That literally that would mean they would be paying us to ship them their drugs. Word fucking salad. He gets up there talking about trade deals. Word fucking salad. But you're up there saying the time for word salads is gone, while Donald Trump is literally up there fucking saying word salads.
Because in the midst of his word salad, he has some meat on the bones.
No, what meat? What meat on the bone does he have?
I mean, he is long-winded. I'm going to give you that.
What meat on the bone does he have?
What he says, he gets to the point. Sometimes
what meat does he have? How about you give me a specific example? How about that?
If he says, for instance, a couple of weeks ago when he said Israel and Palestine or whoever don't know how to do war, whoever it was, he didn't do a whole sentence. He said they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And presidents usually don't speak like that. So
yeah, because most presidents actually have, sense.
Poise and,
no sense.
Class. And
class is a good one. Yeah, he doesn't have, most presidents have intelligence and, and don't, speak at a third grade level. You're right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't educated. So they can't listen
that I agree with.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like he speaks to a lot of people, whether if it's a facade or not. He speaks to people on a more personal level. And he seems more real than the other candidate, obviously, because he won. So it's no, shooting down the other side or anything. I just feel like he relates to us more.
And by us, you mean dumb people.
That's not fair to say, some people are dumb if they have a different of opinion.
I don't know about some people, but you.
I don't think that's, because I have a different of opinion than someone.
That's not a difference of opinion. You're literally saying that the freaking president of the United States relates more to you because he doesn't have class and intelligence. That's literally what you're saying. That's literally what you just said. So, I'm just repeating what you're saying. That's what you said.
Yeah, but you're taking what I'm saying out of context.
I don't think I am.
I said a lot of people are not educated. I didn't say I wasn't educated. I said a lot of people aren't educated, and sometimes you got to talk to people straight and forward. And that's just how he is. like I said, I remember seeing some of the stuff. He can't be too dumb. You know, some people win the lottery and win more money than he has and blow it. Obviously, he knows how to do something because he's still worth a lot of money. He's still making these moves. He stopped war. It was a war in Uganda for like 30 years, and he stopped that.
He didn't stop that fucking war.
He didn't?
No.
What happened? Because I saw the lady from Uganda.
The war went into a ceasefire, and freaking Donald Trump said, hey, I'll give you a pretty sweet fucking trade deal if you say I did this, because Donald Trump is trying to chase Obama's fucking Nobel Peace Prize because he knows he'll never be as good as Obama. So he's trying to chase his Nobel Peace Prize in order to fucking peace somebody. He didn't do that. You know how the easiest way, and really like the easiest way fucking to do this, like to figure this out, is because Donald Trump didn't say a fucking word about it before. He said he was going to stop fucking the Russia-Ukraine war, hasn't done that. Said he was going to stop the Israel-Palestine war, hasn't done that. But all of a sudden, a war he's never talked about all over the freaking world, like, never talked about. All of a sudden, he stopped about it when he said he was not making any negotiations or anything about anything ever. Second of all, you do know that Uganda's not a country, right?
Whatever the case may be, I watched a lot of his press conferences, like right when he's in the office. And what I saw was the lady, and she said that she had asked several presidents before, even Obama, and they ignored her. So I'm just hearing from the horse's mouth. I don't like watching like mainstream news. I actually like to go to, you know, the White House conferences itself and read the stuff there, because I know stuff can get, you know, messed up. And but I'm just saying what I saw. I don't know what information, and I like watching you because I don't want to support someone who is, you know, all of these horrible things that they say he is. So I keep my eye on both sides. But what I see so far is that the other side is more crooked than he is. At least he's telling you who he is to your face, you know, and not behind your back. So you know,
if someone is telling you to your face that they're a bad person and you don't listen, then that means that's on you.
Yeah, but if someone's telling you in your face you're a bad person and they're a bad person versus someone saying they're a good person and lying and they are a bad person, at least you know.
So let me get this straight. Okay, your argument is Donald Trump's a bad person and says he's a bad person, and so the other people say they're good people and they might be doing something behind your back, so I just support the bad guy who says he's a bad guy.
No, what I'm saying is if you know someone is a snake, you know how to carry yourself around them. You know that they're going to behave you like a snake, so you don't expect them to do bird things because you know that they're a snake. So when it comes to Donald Trump, I don't expect him to be Obama because he's not Obama. I don't expect him to speak presidential because he's not presidential. So I don't expect certain things from him like everyone, I think, expects from him, because I know that what type of person he is based off who, you know, we watched growing up. That's not him. He's not all of a sudden going to change how he speaks or how rude he is and call people dumb and all of this stuff. He's always been like that. However, other politicians have said that they were doing stuff for us and they're our friends, but they, you know, could be money laundering or hiding stuff or, you know, just doing stuff behind our back. And I don't, stop. Sorry, my puppy is.
Yeah, even your puppy knows you're a bad person.
I'm not a bad person.
Dogs know. Dogs know. Dogs can sense. Dogs can sense this type of thing. And I think your dog is trying to tell you something right now, to be completely honest with you. I don't even know if I really need to say anything else, because really I think your dog just kind of said everything that I needed to. What's your dog's name?
I think that you have Zeus.
Zeus. Boy dog?
Yeah, it's a razor pit.
Oh, awesome. Can you put me on speaker real quick?
He's already on speaker.
Awesome. Good boy. Good job. Good job, guy. Good job. W Zeus in the chat. Smart dog. Smart dog. Who said pit bulls aren't smart dogs? The smartest dog I've heard in my entire freaking life. Big W's in the chat for Zeus. Hopefully there are a lot more bites in the future. That's all I hope for.
Yes.
But anyways, I'm going to move on to somebody else.
Can I say one last thing, please?
I'm sure. Hello? Why not?
Yeah, I just want to thank talking to you, because we have to have these conversations to see where both sides are coming from. One side doesn't hate the other, and I like listening to you and letting us have a voice, you know, because we don't hate. Everybody's not racist on the other side. just because it is racist people on that side, it doesn't mean all of us are. You know what I mean? So it's just a difference, and we just got to come together and come to the table and see, where each of us is coming from without hate. But I love watching you. Thanks for talking to me. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
And I meant that to Zeus. Marty, I'm sorry. This nailed it, dude. Frickin', oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Kevin, thank you so much for the $1. H, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. MKN said they just love the guy no matter what and just hate the left no matter what. Very sad. Does not matter. Does not matter. Sister Mary Elephant, I couldn't believe this shit either. KJ, I can't put yours back up, but I did have it up for a second. Could not believe that she said that shit. That was absolutely wild. Man of Tomorrow said, and these people, oh, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. He said, and these people have kids. Women have this thing of judging feeling for women, but ignore worse behavior from men. Y'all are preaching in my fucking super chats right now, y'all. Y'all are preaching in here, man. Goodness gracious, man, tomorrow, you just nailed it. Oh my goodness. Can I get W's in chat? I was just throwing them up. Like usually you guys know I don't throw up the super chats until after someone, but it was just a straight full time of preaching this entire time through this, man. I could not help it. I was seeing them and I was like, I had to put something out there, man.
It's insane.
That was wild. Man, tomorrow, thank you for the preaching and all the people. W's in the chat for everybody who sent a super chat, just preaching through that whole time. W's in the chat for that. That was embarrassing, man. That was embarrassing. And Taurus, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships over here. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Taurus. 5 gifted over here. That is really, really awesome. Big W's in the chat. Make sure we throw some extra ones in there for Taurus for the 5 gifted members. And if you just became a member, off of those gifteds, make sure you send a special W just to Taurus for those 5 gifteds. And if you just became a member, make sure you join the Discord. That way you can, have special little Discord stuff for me. Be part of the bingo team where we're doing giveaways. W's in the chat for Pixie who won the bingo last night. So we're gonna have that for a while. So W's in the chat for all the new members. I really, really appreciate it. And I saw Just Bill over here subbed on TikTok too. Hell yeah, W. I appreciate that. Sharif, thank you so much. I lost a few brain cells. Somebody help me. I can't help get them back for you, but I can. You know what, Sharif? Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Y'all make sure that y'all are hitting that subscribe button, turning on notifications, hitting that follow button depending on what you're at. We just hit 60,000 on TikTok, and we are only about freaking 1,500, I believe, or I think we're at 1,800 away from hitting 30,000 on the YouTubes also. So make sure you guys are hitting that sub button. We are growing fast as hell over here. Faster than any debate live I've seen in a while. So make sure you guys are hitting that up, freaking doing things big. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Woo, we are moving. Justin, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really, really appreciate that. And Noise Like said, hey, yeah, Kamala Harris for president. Cardi B is going to be the press secretary, right? Honestly, like, just being completely honest, Cardi B cannot possibly be worse than Caroline Leavitt. So there's no possibility that Cardi B is worse than Caroline Leavitt. So I'm all for it. At least if it was stupid, then it would at least be stupid to a beat with a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? I would rather listen to like Caroline Leavitt right now if she could throw it down to a freaking with a beat and a rhyme. Give me something to dance to, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. Hello, how are you? Hello?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 30. Wow. 39. Wow.
39. Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Real quick, Tara with the 10 gifted subs. Big W's in the chat for Tara with the 10 gifted subs. Put us directly into that sub wave. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Only 12 away from hitting that freaking live goal in the subs. That's what I'm talking about. Big W's in the chat for Tara. Tara, that's Tara with an E. Make sure we're throwing W's out for her. And make sure, again, with the subs, joining that Discord. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. All right, so why do you support Trump?
Yeah, when I saw Kamala do the passage of time, you ever heard her say that? Like, what the hell was she saying?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Look up Kamala Harris, the significance of passage of time.
I am not going to, nor do I really care. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah, mainly because he's a male.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Can't have women. If not, we would have been in World War III already, for sure.
Yeah, as opposed to the wars that we're already in because of Trump. Yeah.
Hey, we're still alive. We would have been dead already.
And how do you know that?
Because Russia would have nuked, we would have nuked, it would have been game over.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes complete sense.
Can't have a woman. Every month, boy, starting shit with Putin, not a good thing.
How many wars in the world have been started by women?
Zero pigs are never in power, thank God.
Actually, the women have been in power throughout our history, actually, very significantly.
Nah, not in America.
Not in America, correct? I didn't ask how many American wars.
Yeah, we're talking about America.
No, I was not. How are you going to tell me what I was talking about?
I mean, we're talking about Trump and Kamala. I mean, if we're going to go worldwide now, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah. But mainly because he's a man, not a woman.
How many countries are there in the world?
More than you.
More than you?
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, God. I don't have enough brain cells left after that last one to deal with that person. Olivia, thank you so much for the 3 more gifted. The 3 more subs gifted. I think, what does that put us at, what, like 9 left? We only need 9 more to hit that goal today? Oh, my God. I think we might actually get there. Holy crap. With the 3 more gifted. Hell yeah, Olivia. Thank you so much. W's for Olivia. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
It sounds like you're in another room.
Oh, sounds like here. Let me switch that up for you.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. Why is that?
For his border policy.
All right. Which border policy?
The Remain in Mexico specifically, but I can name others.
Awesome. Why are you against legal migration?
I'm not against legal migration.
Well, the Remain in Mexico policy was just completely a legal migration policy, and you said that was the number one thing that you supported. So I assumed that if the Remain in Mexico policy was completely didn't have anything to do with legal migration, and you support it, that you're against legal migration.
Okay, so how does the Remain in Mexico Act go against legal migration exactly?
Yeah, so what was the Remain in Mexico Act?
It prevented people from being able to take advantage of the asylum.
And asylum is
claims?
Well, no, it didn't have anyone to take advantage of it. It just said, hey, if you're in danger on the other side of the border, and according to our law, you have the right to seek refuge until you find that you get your court date, that you have to stay in the place where you're in danger until we can find out, until we can get you to a court date, which could be 5, 7, 9, 10 years down the road. But since seeking asylum is legal in the United States, that's not someone taking advantage of it. That's a legal process, and you're for the prohibition of that legal process. So therefore, you're against legal migration.
It's insane.
Okay, so let me get this straight, right? Because you're saying that I'm against legal migration because the Remain in Mexico. Okay, so let's just extrapolate that point for a second, right? Because I can imagine you're a bit of a leftist. Am I
literally just extrapolated it for you? I don't know why you're not answering the question.
No, I'll answer it for you. I think that there's a lot of laws we have.
It's
because
insane.
I'm somewhat of a Trump supporter, but
yeah, I think there's lots of laws I have a problem with also, but I'm having a question about this specific one and your opinion on it.
Okay, well then I can give you my opinion on it.
Then let's get to it.
I think that the Remain in Mexico law goes against, and like I said, I think that despite the fact that you're saying that it's a legal process that people can go through, I think people were exporting it. They were doing things that made them that made the law not so great. Just because it's a law doesn't make it good, right? I think we can both agree on that. There's plenty of laws that Democrats have, Trump has,
Insane.
that I'm sure we can agree on aren't that great. You know what I mean? And I think the Remain in Mexico law was pretty efficient in the sense that it realized, there's a lot of people taking advantage of the asylum crisis.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't know how you export a law. I don't even think that's a real thing, so very confused on that. Second of all, Remain in Mexico policy, the Remain in Mexico policy was not a law. It was an executive order. So therefore it did not fix existing law. So if you had a problem with the law, we should have done something to fix that said law, like the Biden administration tried to do. And the Remain in Mexico policy never addressed actually fixing the US law. All it did was make an executive order, which was short-lived and found to be, slightly unconstitutional, to be completely honest with you, because it went against standing law.
What? I'm confused as to what you're trying to argue here, because I'm trying to argue.
I'm not arguing anything, sir. I'm just responding to what you're saying and giving you facts of what we're talking about.
Against you.
Yeah, you do realize the Supreme Court ruled against Remain in Mexico policy, right?
Yeah, but the Remain in Mexico policy still helped with it. It was credited with a whole bunch of things. One of those being that it deflected a lot of the asylum seekers that were proven to be untrue. People who said, hey man, I'm in danger in Mexico, it was proven to be untrue. People took advantage of asylum seeking.
Yeah, there's tons of people. No, hold on. First of all, it's not proven to be untrue. 60% of the people that sought asylum in the United States at the border were automatically turned around or deported under the Biden administration. So only 40% were let in. And of the people that actually got, hold on, I'm still talking. And of the people that freaking were let in and actually given court dates, about less than 15% of them were actually granted legal asylum. It doesn't mean that it's not true that what they were talking about. It means that the bar that was set for asylum seeking in the United States is a very, very high bar and a very, very strict one. So it doesn't matter whether it's true or not true. It just means that they didn't meet the credit. I'm still talking.
I'm listening.
So it doesn't mean that that was true or untrue. It meant that the bar was not met for being able to seek asylum in the United States. But that means for the 15% of people that were in actual danger and that their fear was actually correct and that them or their families were at risk, or their life was at risk, for that 15%, they were now stuck in the place where the danger existed, which means that they had an exponentially higher ability to be unalived because of that asylum process. If you wanted to fix that process, the correct way to fix that process would be to shrink the amount of time that people waited to seek asylum and to actually correct the laws so that we had more clarity on who could actually seek asylum. That way, less people were let in given court dates and therefore increasing the percentage of amount of people that were actually granted asylum. But by leaving them there, it was actually very inhumane, which again was ruled on by the Supreme Court.
So I'm trying to understand, right? Because I am very I'm trying to understand where you feel on this, right? Because I know we're discussing Trump versus Kamala Harris or whoever we might be discussing.
Not really.
The way I see it is that Barack Obama had a way stricter and a very inhumane way of dealing with illegals. And when that happened, it wasn't such a big deal. But now when Trump does it, it is. And I'm not trying to do a what-ifism. I'm not trying to bring that to you.
Yes, you are.
But what I'm trying to say is that what Trump is doing is correct and it is right. And I'm trying to understand your rebutation.
Yeah, Obama did not have a policy that left people in danger in places where they needed to be seeking refuge from.
Okay.
Did he?
There are countless.
It's a yes or no question. Did he?
I'm sorry. Ask me the question again.
Did Barack Obama have a policy in place to leave people that were trying to seek refuge for fear of their lives in those places? Yes or no?
100%.
All right, awesome. Can you please tell me that policy then? Can you please tell me that policy?
Left people in cages.
Sir. Stop trying to pivot and stop trying to move the goalpost.
No.
I'm not trying to pivot. We are not arguing, sir. I don't know what you think that we're talking about right now. We are talking about the Remain in Mexico policy because that is the policy in which you said that we were talking about. So can you please give me Obama's policy that was like Remain in Mexico that left people that were trying to seek asylum or seek refuge in the countries in which they were in danger?
Okay, so you want me, so now that I'm saying that you have yet to rebuke Trump's Remain in Mexico, but you want me to tell you an Obama policy, I can do that.
You brought up Obama. You're the one who said Obama's policy when it came to asylum seekers was stricter. You said that. So I'm looking for which policy.
it's stricter in the sense that he had people in cages.
Those weren't
There's
asylum
images of it. You can
seekers.
look
That
at
entire
them.
process was bad, but had nothing to do with asylum. So therefore, it has nothing to do with
the people
All right,
in
sir,
cages
sir,
weren't
sir,
asylum
sir,
seekers.
sir. Hey, how old did you say you were?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay,
Sir.
I am damn near 40, and I'm not here to play your bullshit.
What
Okay,
bullshit? I'm trying to be nice with you.
No, it's not a matter of being nice. I'm not here to play your bullshit, and I'm not here to listen to it either. Okay, you said you came up to support the Remain in Mexico policy. I am talking about the Remain in Mexico policy. You said that Obama's policies when it came to asylum seekers was worse. Okay, I am looking for the name of the policy that was worse for asylum seekers that left them in those places. That's it. If you can't tell me that, then just go ahead and say I concede my point, and then I'll go back to instructing you on all of the things about this law that you already don't understand. Okay.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna. I refuse to concede my point. Here's what I'll tell you. In fact, I'm.
All right, then where's my policy name?
No, fuck the policy. Here's
okay, well then I'm not interested. I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
I can talk to you still.
Give me the policy or concede the point. I'm not. That's the only two things out of your mouth.
Okay, so here's what I will tell you. Barack Obama.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Sorry, I have zero will to play this game. Hello, how are you?
Oh yeah, I was hearing you right. The call before the last one.
All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. Really appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. How old are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I am 25 years old.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Not everything. No. I am kind of in the middle on all of the issues, but some stuff I agree with Trump. A lot of stuff I disagree.
Well, I really appreciate that, but I'm only looking for Trump supporters right now. But I hope you have a wonderful day, okay? All right, we're going to keep this thing moving. Ivan, thank you so much. How do people believe someone who has tanked every business he has ever started? Well, in his fairness, he only tanked 7 of them in a bunch of casinos. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that. And Lee, thank you so much. Hail Satan. Can we get a bunch of Hail Satans in the chat? I really appreciate that. Can we get a bunch of Hail Satans in the chat for Lee? I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Doing pretty well about yourself.
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Awesome. What year were you born?
Huh?
What year were you born?
06.
All right, awesome.
18.
Doreen, thank you so much for the $20. Said that lady was lost. Have some apple juice on me. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. So why do you support Trump?
Why are you making that assumption I support Trump?
I thought you just said you did.
No, I don't support Trump. I mean, I don't.
All right, man.
I mean, I never said I did or don't. You made an assumption I did.
All right, well, awesome. Then I hope you have a wonderful day, okay? Hello, how are you?
Annoying as fuck.
All right, hey, sweetheart. T-Dot said she was honest, fair, and polite. What's the problem? What's the problem with that lady coming up on my live and saying, well, Donald Trump only did 1 grape, and now they're saying he did did like 5, and that's horrible? You don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with a lady, with somebody saying that on live? Interesting. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate that. Hello, how are you? Brian, thank you so much, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
That's good. I'm 26.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Some of the things that yeah, kind of.
What do you mean, kind of, man? I don't understand. Like, how did you vote for him?
Yeah.
Do you support what he's doing right now?
Not right now. No. It was more.
Do you regret your vote?
A little bit. I thought it was, going to be like a strong president because, the day that he got shot, he projected in my eyes, he projected a lot of strength on I don't know if they call it like the world stage or whatever they call it. But the day that he got shot, like he showed like he wasn't that shit didn't really phase him type shit. He stood there and did something most presidents wouldn't do and stood there and had his head arm raised and all that good shit. And that was pretty tough to me.
Haven't there been presidents that have been like shot in the torso and freaking survived and freaking stayed president?
I don't know about all the presidents, you know. I ain't really into all that.
Pretty sure there was one that like got shot in the torso or something like that and freaking still became president. No, it wasn't Reagan, bro. Freaking dude, I'm sorry. I just like anyways. Is that really your big point, man? Is that just like he freaking he got nicked by some glass by a stray bullet? Like that's our big, you know.
I mean, another point was when he talked about, I don't know if he did it, but
maybe it was Reagan.
When he was like he wanted to buy grain. I thought that was some tough shit. Like I would really love to see America on that. You know what I mean?
Why?
Well, because strategically, it's a good little place to have. You know
yeah, I mean, strategically, so would Germany would also be a great place to have.
Yeah, sure, but us doing our own little thing over here, if we had
it's insane.
Had Greenland all to ourselves, that would be pretty tough.
Yeah, and it'd be pretty tough if we had Germany too. Maybe we should, maybe try to take, like,
at one point in time,
like Egypt and maybe, China would be pretty strategic. I bet you it'd be pretty cool there. Yeah.
I don't know.
We should just take every country that could be strategic, even though they're, sovereign nations or territories that belong to other countries, right? We should just take whatever we want because we're America, right? It's tough. It's America.
I'm not saying we should just. I'm not saying we should just take whatever we want. He said he was going to buy it. Now I understand that. I don't know if he. I think it went. I don't think they wanted to do it or whatever. But that would be tough. Just like when he wanted to, make Canada the 51st state, 50 something whatever state. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If Canada wanted to do it, that would be pretty cool, would it not?
They don't want to do it, and why would they?
Yeah, I understand that part.
But they're doing better than us. Why would they want to do that?
I don't know. More power. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the more power thing doesn't really work when you have a country that has things like universal health care and their country that actually takes care of their people.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's insane.
Wait, let me ask you something. Didn't Russia send 2 subs to like really close to America, and didn't Trump send 2 subs right back? That's pretty tough.
No, Russia just said some shit Trump didn't like, and he said he's had 2 nuclear subs in the area. Yeah, that's not tough. That's just honestly being so much of a bitch that when someone says something to you, freak out. That's really more of what it is.
I guess.
Yeah, that's just being like a giant baby, bro.
I guess. It was just, pretty cool. Just, I don't know why. I'm just intrigued in like watching how war shit goes and all of that. You know what I mean? Like what you going to do? Like what is the president going to do in times of, crisis and all of that shit?
Yeah. It doesn't count as a time of crisis if you're the one causing the crisis.
What he what he do with Russia?
He sent 2 nuclear subs. You just said it.
Oh, right. That's because Russia sent 2 subs like close to America, like very close to America.
He did it. What? He's causing the crisis, and then
Hey man, I may have got my information all twisted up. I don't really watch politics like all of that. I'm just saying that, hey, pretty cool little shit to hear type shit.
Bro, we should be trying to stay out of wars, trying to de-escalate conflicts, trying to use things like diplomacy. We should not be sitting here trying to escalate situations or getting mad or starting wars. The entire thing with the president is that the president should be calm-headed. The president is dealing with a whole bunch of shit all the time, right? And we need that president to be calm-headed, to be chilled out, to not freak out and make rash decisions every single time anything happens, okay? I will tell you that freaking talking about nuclear submarines when it comes to fighting a nuclear nation, that is something that is very rash and not good for Americans, right? For a president to be making those decisions. And we see that all the time. We just saw it with, him firing the head of, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? He just didn't like the job numbers, even though they're accurate, and he fired someone because he just didn't like the numbers. Right? Like, that's not something that we want in a president. We don't want somebody to be just firing people because he doesn't like something, or sending nuclear subs a place because someone says something they don't like, or something like that. We need people to be calm and to be level-headed and to be able to make decisions, right, that are effective and benefit the United States, not somebody who just does shit just on a whim because he's woke up and have a bad day. Like, and I'll be completely honest with you, brother, like, and this is like just being honest. Like, I heard all this bullshit misogyny when it came to Kamala Harris about like, oh, she might have her period and and like make a bad decision or something like that. And then I'm watching Donald Trump make the most emotionally driven decisions of like anybody that like I've ever seen, dude. He just makes emotional fucking decisions all the fucking time. Like at this point, I think Donald Trump's on his period, bro. Cause like he I mean, I'm not trying to like, and that's not even trying to be like misogynist or anything like that. But like everything that they said, like, first of all, Kamala Harris, doesn't have a period. She's a 60-year-old woman, right? Like, that's crazy, right? But they're talking about like emotional swings and stuff like that. And and he's the one having all the emotional swings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy to me, It's just crazy to me to see that exact thing happening, to like in front of our faces, and nobody's even blinking. No one's really saying anything about it. And I just think that's, I think that's kind of weird. But I am going to move on to the next. Caller. But I
move to the next caller. I do have like a very, very good question. Like,
all right,
you or something.
Go ahead and ask the question, man. Then I'll move on.
All right. So how like, I don't know, like, I think it was like 2-3 callers away, because I am a good little fan of watching your shit. But like 2-3 callers ago, somebody was talking about like the Kamala Harris and shit, and people keep bringing up Biden and all of that thing, and like the lesser of two evils. I'm thinking that they're confused. Are they like confusing that with like sticking with the demon that they know and not with the ones that they don't type shit?
Yeah, I've heard that argument before. The demon get better than the demon you don't. Like, the devil you know more than the devil you don't. That's the way I was taught, or whatever. But that's ridiculous, man. Like, if Hitler was our last president and he's running against somebody else, do we go, oh, okay, well, at least he's the devil we know? No, of course we realize that he's the devil and that other people are better. Like, it takes just using your common sense and some eyes and some, the smallest bit of, empathy and compassion and understanding to realize that Kamala Harris was a much better person than Donald Trump. We knew what kind of devil he was. Like, why do I need to I'm not worried about the devil he doesn't, because she could not have been worse.
You were right on that one.
Yeah.
You were right on that one.
But I am going to let you go, man. I hope you have a good one. All right, brother?
You too, man. Thank you.
Bye. All right. Hey, Veronica, don't worry too much about the all caps. My Streamlabs will take care of that. Just really watch the spammers and the racists. You'll have Veronica, don't worry too much about the all caps. That all will get taken care of by itself. Talk to Corey. There's plenty of other problems over there, which is why I just let you loose. So, but thank you so much, Veronica. I appreciate that. I'm not so much worried about the caps. I'm much more worried about all the rest of the shit going on over there. All right. Thank you guys so much for the little goal things. I keep trying to catch one. I'm not catching them. Ruguru, what's wild is that Trump's late brother Robert was a better businessman than his ass. Probably. I don't know much about Trump's brother, but probably couldn't have been worse. I really don't know too much, but thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So, but I really don't. I don't know anything about his late brother. I don't know anything about it at all. Maybe it's something I should get educated on. So thanks for that. Rami said, "Don't get mad. MAGA warriors aren't the brightest." Oh, I'm not mad. Don't worry about it, man. I'm out here. I'm having a blast. Are you guys having fun? Are you not entertained? I'm having fun. You know what? I'm having fun anytime we get new members and new subs. And we already we're like 8 away from hitting my goal over on TikTok. We've already got 5 brand new members over on YouTube. I love when people are joining the team because it motivates me to do some more stuff to freaking make sure we grow this team. I love it. I think it's fucking great. I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. So by the way, make sure you guys hitting that follow button, hitting that subscribe button, turning on those notifications, regardless of which platform you're on across the board. Make sure you guys are have all that stuff on. It's really, really fun, and we do this every single day, but Thursday, especially this Thursday. I got a bunch of dad stuff to do. Ruguru said it was Reagan and Teddy Roosevelt, and Roosevelt was doing a speech with a bullet in his chest. I knew there was someone who kept going that day. I knew there was someone that kept going that day, and it was Teddy. Teddy was a beast, wasn't he? That's the one I was thinking. I wasn't thinking of Reagan. I was thinking of Teddy. I was definitely thinking of Teddy. But thank you so much for filling me in on that history lesson, right? I love that. Yeah, W Teddy, 100%. And Chloe, thank you so much, says, what about the Nordic model? Love from Sweden. There is a lot of stuff in a lot of the Nordic models. By the way, I love seeing freaking Sweden and Norway in my comments. I get super chats from you guys every once in a while from Sweden and Norway, and I have to tell you, I hope I'm doing you guys proud. Like, I really am. Like, you guys are over here freaking absolutely cool. No, there's lots of things that I think that that we can do a lot better as far as the Nordic model, as far as, oh my gosh, I can go for days. Universal health care, prison reform, gun reform, social programs, strong social safety nets that cover all sorts of things. I actually should get a little bit more educated on there. So, I do like to argue it a little bit, but Chloe, make sure you join my Discord if you can too. I would love to hear some more stuff about Sweden and some more stuff about Norway, to be a lot more educated on what you guys are doing over there, because I believe the happiest nations on the planet, right? Some great stuff. I think my biggest complaint, and I usually don't, I shouldn't spend this much time on this super chat, but I'm gonna say one more thing. The biggest thing that I freaking can't stand, literally, is people are like, oh, it's because we have so many more people. That is so fucking stupid. That's such a dumb argument to say that because you guys have less people, you guys can be better people. That is fucking wild. Anyways, sorry. I just thought I wanted to say that out loud. That's fucking crazy. But thank you so much from Sweden. W's in the chat for that. And Taurus, thank you so much for the 5 more gifted subs. I really, really appreciate, or gifted memberships. Make sure you guys are freaking send W's over there to Taurus for those gifted memberships. I got some people playing bingo right now. They're not playing it. We just did the giveaway today. So I'll turn on the giveaway again soon, because I have some new merch coming in, like hopefully this week. And if I like it, I'm going to be launching a new merch store. So I will be launching a new merch store, and then I'll do another bingo right after that too. Will be really, really cool. So Taurus, thank you so much. That was a chat for Taurus for the gifted subs over there. Our gifted members. I really appreciate that. All right, we're gonna open up the phone lines. I still got a little bit more time, so we're gonna keep this thing going. I'm gonna open the phone lines. We're gonna take another caller. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chats, for the gifteds, for all the fun stuff. I really, really appreciate that. Really, really does mean the world to me. Big W's, Taurus and Tara with the 10 gifted on both sides today. I really, really appreciate that. And I also need to get it set up on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Also. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 20. I'm 28.
You're 28? Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Awesome. Why is that?
Because, he's American first. He, he followed the Constitution, He's like I say, he was the better.
Bro, are those real crickets in the background?
I don't know. You hear crickets?
Bro, there ain't no fucking way. There ain't no fucking way. Those are real fucking crickets in the background.
I don't hear no crickets, man. So what's going on, man? Hey, I heard you say something. You said that the Roe v. Wade was not a law. You was wrong about that. Roe v. Wade was a law. That's why it was overturned. That's why it was able to be overturned.
It's a supreme...
The crickets, don't worry about the crickets, bro.
I can't not worry about the crickets, bro. You can't be coming up here. You can't be coming up here being. You can't be up here being boring with
what's important, bro.
You can't be up here being.
Why are you listening to what's in my background, bro?
You can't be up here being boring and have crickets in the background. There's just no way.
No, I just told you. You was wrong about what you're wrong about everything you say. Everything you say is wrong.
Okay.
You was wrong about the Roe v. Wade not being a law. Why would you say it's not a law if it is a law?
Sir, what does Roe v. Wade mean?
It was a law. So why did you say it was not a law?
Because it was a court case. Because it was
It was a fucking law. That's why it was overturned. Why you think it was overturned?
Sir.
You a stupid fuck, bro. You a faggot as well.
Well,
you a bitch. You was a light.
It literally said Roe versus Wade. That was the court case. That's it's literally in the name. It's literally in the name that it was a court case. That's what's impressive. Yeah, he turned down the crickets that are not fake. Bro. Hello, how are you?
How's it going, man?
It's going well. How old are you?
Oh, 37.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do. I don't. I am conflicted.
Did you vote for him?
I did, actually. The most recent time, but not the first time.
Well, you voted for him, and he's, promises made, promises kept, so why don't you support him?
Well, so I got to give you some context. I've been in the Army for 19 years now.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Hey, I watched what he did during his first term, and I actually got to meet him when he went and visited South Korea. I had lunch with him one time. Right? So I got my picture with the president, all that kind of fancy things. But it seems like his first term was kind of along the vibe, or at least the financial backing of the DOD, on the level of what we had when I like to call Bush money, right? When we were fighting the global war on terrorism. So when he came in the first term, he actually kind of opened up the funding a little bit, and it seemed to alleviate a lot of the Department of Defense's constraints.
I don't know what you're talking about. Biden literally had Department of Defense raises that were highest, and he gave the largest pay raise to the troops since Bush, because he gave separate different raises. He not only had the inflation raises under his term, but he also gave the large raise to the junior enlisted people under his term. So Biden had the largest raises as far as military pay since the Bush administration.
Oh, absolutely. No disagreement on that. Okay, here's the thing, though. I've been around for quite a few administrations, at least as a member of the military. And I will say this, all right, for all the viewers, if you are under a Republican regime, you're guaranteed to go to war and get paid extra because you're fighting for your freedom or whatever,
And you get the added benefit of maybe dying.
Yeah, I agreed. All right, but that's part of the decisions that we make, and
it's a difference between making a decision that you're willing to die and then advocating for death. Those are those are two completely different things, right? If you make the decision that you're willing to die for your country, I have the utmost respect for you 100%, okay? And I have the much respect for anybody who signs that paper and takes that oath in order to do that exact thing. At that same time, I also hope that the fewest amount, hopefully zero, actually do die. Right? That's the entire point. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm all for military raises, but I'm all for less war, right? Because I want our troops to be, self-sufficient, be able to take care of their bills, be able to, do all the things that they need to do, especially when it comes to our, to the junior enlisted people in the military, because they're the ones that usually get the brunt end of both sticks when it comes to, pay and to, and to, well, honestly, the job and the shit, right, is the junior enlisted people that mostly get that. So I want them to get paid the right amount of money, but have the less chance of going to war. Biden not only had the highest pay raise since the Bush administration, but had the least amount of troops deployed since the Bush administration.
Okay, I'll argue that. And I would just want to finish out my statement. The Republicans, under their regime, you as a service member, you're guaranteed to go to war and maybe get a little bit of better pay because you're in a war environment. But under Democratic regimes, generally their pay raises are higher annually. So it's kind of a win-win regardless if you're in the military and whoever's in charge. Okay, so that's that point. But what your statement was, where you said that under Biden's administration that he had the least amount of people deployed and all that stuff. I would have to argue that because I was in Afghanistan right before the withdrawal and all of this other things where we divested a lot of equipment and we shut down so many places and all this other stuff. Really, Biden's accolades, I'm throwing your words in your mouth. Biden's accolades of having less people in foreign countries or deployed, right, was actually really the term before him that set forth the methods to get people out of places. So it's really Trump's actions.
Well, I mean, you could only say that for Afghanistan.
No, I can say that for Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria.
You cannot say that. You cannot show me the policies whatsoever from Donald Trump that had to pull out of Syria or Iraq. You can show for Afghanistan. I 100% won't even argue with that. Donald Trump was the person that set the entire thing in motion by negotiating with the Taliban at Camp David and, pretty much setting the entire plans for the Afghan pullout, which is honestly why it was such a clusterfuck to fucking begin with, because that was all in Donald Trump's plan. And I won't argue that whatsoever. And I won't also argue that the pullout of Afghanistan was one of the biggest reasons why there was less troops deployed downrange during the Biden administration because of that pullout, right? But the truth of the matter is that that Joe Biden also didn't put us back into anything, right? Like that.
It's
and
insane.
As soon as Donald Trump came back in, we were bombing in Somalia. We were bombing, obviously, in Iran. We increased our presence in Yemen. Right. We, again, like as the previous caller also mentioned, bringing nuclear submarines, into closer to Russia, as he says, with in parentheses. Right. And so, like, again, we've seen that there has been an escalation in conflict since Donald Trump got back in office.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Of past and current administrations, we all can, at least you and I, hopefully we can agree on that the military-industrial complex is a huge part of our economy. Yes or no?
Agreed.
Okay, so if by means of that notion that a huge part of our economy is based off of the conquering of U.S. over the planet, then where do we draw the lines of political spectrum to say, hey, should we be in this part or that part or whatever part of the country and keeping this giant machine going? I don't believe that no one political party or political figure can actually put that on their stamp, especially when for the.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. Are you saying that we should advocate for a political party based off their investment into the military industrial complex? Because right now at that point, it sounds like you're pretty much just advocating for more money in politics and more lobbying by the military industrial complex, which I wholeheartedly disagree with.
I will say this. I like getting paid what I currently do. All right. It's not much, right?
You don't work for the military industrial complex.
Oh, absolutely, I do. The largest part of the expenditure is actually paying soldiers, sailors, Marines, and the rest.
Yeah, when we talk about the military industrial complex, we're talking about industry. That's why it says that you're part of the Department of Defense, part of the military. And again, I've already made very clear about my stance on the pay for military. Okay, when we talk about the military industrial complex, we're talking about Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. We're talking about Northrop Grumman and all the different military contractors that provide you with weapons, that sell weapons to other countries, right? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about this type of thing, right? So let's not confuse the two things here, right? When you're saying that the military industrial complex spurs our economy very strongly, and I agree that it does because we are the world's largest weapons producer on the planet. World's largest weapons producer on the planet. That's repetitive. We are the world's largest weapons producer, right? And we create a lot of the world's weapons, and we use them, we sell them, we do all those sort of things. And while I agree that not only does the military-industrial complex help to spur our economy, and it also helps to employ a lot of veterans, which at 19 years you will be soon, right? Advocating for conflict across the world in order to spur that industry is just literally advocating for lobbying and money at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, what about okay, we're playing the industrial complex thing. There's an estimate. Okay, I have read quite a different opinions about this from different sides of the news political spectrum. Is that like a quarter of West Virginia employs their population that actually directly make or manufacture or anything like that part of the DoD's armory. We'll say that word, okay? But a quarter of an entire state's working class are actually producing for the military. That's a very tough subject to get to say, hey, political A, political B, when I want to get elected, I'm gonna drop a quarter of a state.
Yeah, again, that would just be saying that a quarter of the state was going to get fired, which nobody has ever advocated for that.
Okay, so you agree that we are kind of stuck in this machine, this military-industrial complex machine. It's kind of ingrained our political DNA there. So we have some facet to electing officials as to how they're going to run this machine in the future,
Sir,
or at least during their.
First of all, let me be very, very clear. Let's just. I don't really know where we're going in this conversation, so let me just kind of level set this entire conversation real quick, okay? Both the Democratic and Republican parties have used lobbying and military-industrial complex money in order to fund military-industrial complex. Again, rises in the DoD happened under the Trump administration in his first term. They happened under the Biden administration during his term, and they're helping in this one also. Okay, those jobs and all this sort of stuff are advocated by lobbyists, and they are advocated on by individual representatives for all of these countries, i.e. West Virginia, i.e. like my state, Florida, which has a whole bunch of jobs for within the military-industrial complex. I believe the second largest Lockheed plant in the United States is in my state, right in Florida, in the Orlando area, right? So there is lots of freaking money that goes into that, okay? But the problem is that the more that the best way to freaking fund the industrial complex, military-industrial complex, is by war. And in order to have war, that causes death. And I don't believe in any way, shape, form, or facet that we should trade the deaths of our young men and women in this country for the spur of our economy within the military-industrial complex. I believe that we have more than enough money, considering it is one of the largest freaking pieces of our economy right now, that we can that the military and industrial complex can also be funded by the U.S. military to a certain point, while also being funded by other nations who they provide weapons for, especially within NATO countries and our allies within Asia. I believe that we can do all of that while still keeping, if not the majority of the jobs that are within that, without making a bunch of billionaires that own companies like Lockheed Martin even more rich, and especially not doing it at the expense of our freaking young men and women.
Totally agreed. No loss of life. That's definitely the cherry on the top right now. 100%. We're on the same wavelength. Can I ask just a question? Because I've come across I've been doom scrolling once in a while, and I come across your live streams. I don't think I know of whether or not you have ever served, and I'm only asking that because I would agree. And I want to say that I've seen a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, and just gross spending of shit down at the lowest level. So have you been, and have you ever witnessed that too?
Yes and yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's easy. Does our government have fraud, waste, and abuse? 100%. I mean, that there are programs and spots, including like the inspectors general and all sorts of stuff that are in charge of making sure that doesn't happen, right? And I completely agree that we need to get rid of as much of that waste and fraud and all that sort of stuff as we possibly can. This is why it's so upsetting to see things like Donald Trump, where Donald Trump comes in and puts in things like Doge that immediately fire things like the inspector general, that immediately fire things like Consumer Financial Bureau, which is doesn't, win the DoD, but other things that are literally in charge of making sure that our government doesn't waste money. And at the same time, the government is spending at an alarming rate. Our government is at a record high spending rate right now, and the DoD is still yet to pass an audit. So we don't even know where all of that money is going, right? So while I do agree 100% that we need to cut out the fraud and waste and abuse within our government and streamline a lot of things, Donald Trump is not doing that while claiming that he is, which is somehow even worse.
Well, I want to ask you your opinion. Okay, I think Doge. I'm at odds. I'm conflicted with the Doge program. Right. I understand its intent, but I'm not totally concise, or I'm not comfortable with its outcome. So, do you have an opinion or an idea of who or what entity would actually be a good, unbiased auditor of the government?
Yeah, we already had them.
Who would that be?
There was tons of them. Again, they got fired the first day Donald Trump got into office. We had a whole bunch of them, of unbiased auditors. All of these different programs all have independent, unbiased auditors that are already inside of them. That's what they do, right? And they save us billions of dollars every single year. Now, what we should have done is actually bolster those different programs within them in order to, do these different programs. But instead of bolstering them, Donald Trump fired all of them and put in people that were not qualified to audit any of these situations, and then put them in, and they didn't do any of that auditing or any of that inspecting. They just fired people that were investigating Elon Musk. That's all they did. Okay. But anywho, man, hey, I'm going to jump to the next caller, but I do appreciate you. All right, man? I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right. Keep them strong, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good one. Oh, that was a whole lot of stuff. Anyways, y'all, actually, I think I'm going to call it quits for the night. I'm good. Thank you so much, Jeremy. And Lindy, thank you so much. This is why I raise chickens. Oh, that's funny. I really appreciate that. I think I am going to call today. I've done about 2 hours, and honestly, I'm getting kind of tired. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'll be back on tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central. Make sure you guys join the Discord. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate that. And hope you guys have a wonderful day, all right? I love y'all.